Hey everybody! It has been an amazing month for World of Warcraft. Ever since WoW Classic launched on August 26th, we've seen millions of players around the world jump in to explore Azeroth as it stood before the Cataclysm. Whether you're revisiting old memories or experiencing it for the very first time, it's been humbling for the team to share in the community's passion and enthusiasm around this classic experience. We've seen players hit max level, we have seen Onyxia and Ragnaros fall, several sulfuruses have been crafted around the world, we've even heard about a couple of epic BOEs ninja looted, shame on you, and many Devil Sores have fallen and donated their leather to fuel the server's economy of Devil Sore leather. We've also heard from many of you that you're ready for something new to sink your teeth into. And so, while we originally had this Phase 2 plan that was going to be Dire Maul Dungeon, World Bosses, and the Honor System for PvP, I'm happy to announce that we're going to break Dire Maul out separately and get it out there as soon as possible. In fact, just a couple of weeks from now, the week of October 15th, the Dire Maul Dungeon will go live worldwide in Classic. So get ready to craft those ogre suits, practice those tribute runs, and get your hands on that sweet loot from Dire Maul. Of course, we still have the Honor System and World Bosses just around the corner after that, and I'll share more detailed information on exactly when to expect that as soon as we have it. But we can't wait to see everybody jump in.
Why is he facing away from the camera?
Now, it's also been an incredible couple of weeks in Battle for Azeroth. Just last week, we saw patch 8.2.5 go live, and players around the world got to experience the thrilling end to the war campaign, as Saurfang's long journey brought him to stand side by side with Anduin in front of the gates of Orgrimmar, facing down Sylvanas and her forces to bring this battle that has consumed all of Azeroth to an end once and for all. But in the meantime, there are other threats that have been lurking in the shadows. Lest we forget our adventures in Nazjatar, and at the end of Eternal Palace, when we faced down Queen Ashara herself, we did so against the backdrop of an ancient prison built to contain one of the mightiest of all evils that Azeroth has ever known, the old god Nezoth. And as Queen Ashara fell, with her last gasp, the lock, the final seal that contained Nezoth, was broken, and he was fully unleashed. And so what does that mean for us?
We're fucked?
Well, I'm excited to announce that the next major content update coming to World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth is Visions of Nezoth that will answer that question and so much more. For the first time, we're going to see an old god unleashed in their full might, in their dark fury. We have seen Cthulhu's Eye, we have seen Yogg-Saron locked away in a prison, we have heard of Ysarge, who perished long ago. But now for the first time, we are contending with an old god that is fully free of all shackles, to roam Azeroth, to reach out with his tentacles and tendrils and plot and plan and undermine all that keeps us safe.
It's like one of my Japanese anime.
That we face in Visions of Nezoth. Ny'alotha, the sleeping city, the dreaming city, as some have called it,
is it in
the
Dark
domain of
Moon?
the Black Empire. It is this alternate world inhabited by the old gods and their minions. And it's not a distant location for us to travel to via a starship or a portal. It's in fact all around us, on the other side of this thin veil. And what Nezoth is doing is tearing that veil down, bringing horrible nightmares and dark visions of a future in which the forces of the old god are ascendant into our world. And if we don't stop him, there will be nothing left of Azeroth to defend. Because this has been a battle for Azeroth between the Alliance and Horde, but it's also always been a battle for the safety of Azeroth, for the future of Azeroth, that our heroes have been waging all along. And this now is coming to its conclusion. Now, Titan facilities across Azeroth are the key to containing, controlling, and understanding the power of Nezoth. The Titans have always been our world's last bulwark against the assault of the old gods. And so, of course, those facilities are being assaulted by the minions of Nezoth, whether humanoid allies, horrible insects, or the eldritch creatures of the old gods themselves. We're going to have to rally to their defense and actually venture through these rifts into the world that Nezoth's minions inhabit, into an alternate reality that reflects the manifestation of all of Nezoth's goals, to analyze it, understand the power of the old gods, and destroy these visions from within. And we talk about what that actually means in practice in terms of gameplay. Now, the first sign of Nezoth's power that we're going to witness firsthand are assaults by his minions on 2 key locations in Azeroth that are home to Titan facilities. Now, these Titan facilities are our world's last defense, our final bulwark against Nezoth coming completely into our world and plunging it into madness. And so when an assault is active, the zone will be overcome with powerful lieutenants of Nezoth, enemies to defeat, treasures to uncover, puzzles to solve, and much more. Building out this content has drawn upon everything that we've learned in making assaults in Tides of Vengeance, as well as major zones like Mechagon and Nashtatar most recently. Now let's take a look at a couple of these locations. First off, Uldum, home to the Halls of Origination, a great Titan vault, is going to come under regular assault by the minions of Nezoth. When an assault is active in the zone, players will rally to Uldum and battle across the zone against the Old God's minions. Now, another key location in Azeroth that's home to a major Titan facility is the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, back in Pandaria. Mogushan Vaults is what I'm referring to, of course. Now, last time we saw the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, it had been blighted with dark Shah energy unleashed by Garrosh towards the end of Mists of Pandaria. Now, the passage of time and the natural redemption that came at the end of that arc has finally healed those old wounds to the land. And the Vale stands fully restored to its original glory for all players to visit in this next content update.
Nice.
At least until it comes under attack by the minions of the Old God and is once again plunged into a new type of darkness. Don't worry, it's only going to look like this while Nezoth is actively assaulting it. Otherwise, and in the long run, the original pristine Vale is here to stay. But you will want to journey here, fight off the Old God's minions, unravel the mysteries behind them, and do everything you can to thwart this great threat that's facing Azeroth. Now, Visions of Nezoth isn't just the name of this content update, it's also the name of its major new feature. By completing assaults, you'll be able to earn your way into the deepest recesses of Nezoth's mind and the reality that's seeking to manifest itself across Azeroth. There are these horrific visions, which are 1 to 5 player content centered around the capital cities of Orgrimmar and Stormwind, that show us an alternate reality of what might come to pass if we do not succeed. Here we see maps of Orgrimmar and Stormwind indicating the deepening corruption the farther into the cities we go. Now, when you first enter a horrific vision, I can virtually guarantee you're not going to make it very far. Your mind will succumb to Nezoth's relentless assault as your sanity slips away. You'll begin to experience effects, various detrimental effects, some cosmetic, some very serious mechanical hindrances, as your sanity literally is drained by being within this horrific vision and by facing off against Nezoth's minions. You will have to retreat, but you'll do it taking with you the things that you've learned along the way, which will enable you to build better defenses for your future trips. Now, we're going to be working with none other than Wrathion, son of Deathwing, who knows a thing or two about corruption, because his father, of course, was famously plunged into madness by Nezoth's corruption. And what else does Wrathion know very well? Well, of course, legendary cloaks. And Wrathion is going to work with us to create a legendary cloak that will initially provide some sort of defense,
Dibs on the one in the middle,
against Nezoth's sanity-draining attacks. This will enable us to venture deeper and deeper into these visions on our successive visits, earning greater rewards, also unlocking more of the mysteries behind Nezoth's power.
More grinding.
This cloak may actually also come in handy when you face off against Nezoth himself further down the road. Now, in addition to the legendary cloaks, you'll also be taking fragments of Nezoth's corruption out of these horrific visions with you. You can bring them to Mother and Magni to analyze and research, which will allow you and allow them to strengthen your defenses against Nezoth's corruption and give you new tools to battle him and his minions. These will help your future visits into the horrific visions, allowing you to delve deeper, overcome greater threats, and weather the effects of his sanity-draining attacks. Ever since the Mage Tower in Legion, we've been looking for a way to provide a more satisfying solo progression experience and a real challenge that you can work towards on your own without needing a group of dungeon players or raiders or a battleground group at your side. And that's one of our goals, really, in crafting this Visions of Nezoth feature and these horrific visions. This is an experience that you can go into entirely solo and work your way through, making progress further and further each time as you gain the benefit of Titan research, understand the tricks and the threats posed by Nezoth's enemies, and eventually fully clear the vision at the end of your journey. Now, of course, you can also bring friends in with you. We've made this experience something that will scale seamlessly from 1 to 5 players, regardless of your role, and the rewards are equal regardless of the size of your group. We want to let you experience this the way that best suits your playstyle. We can't wait to let players check this out on the PTR.
And streamers can be carried by their
all
viewers.
All of this is leading to a showdown with Nezoth himself. And that journey is going to take us into the sprawling raid that is the centerpiece of this content update. Ny'alotha, a 12-boss raid that showcases the full splendor of the Black Empire. We're going to have to fight our way through the military might of Nezoth's minions, disgusting spawning pools that have created the corruptions that we've seen across the years, the insectoid allies and minions of Nezoth, those humans that have decided to embrace his cause of corruption, and much more. At the end of this journey awaits the old god himself. We're going to need all of our allies, all of our might, all that we have learned through our research, our work with Magni, and channeling the power of Azeroth herself in order to emerge triumphant and save Azeroth. We also have a number of changes coming to our reward systems with Visions of Nezoth. In addition to the legendary cloak that I mentioned earlier, that you can earn and upgrade to defend yourself against Nezoth's assaults, we'll also have new levels for the Heart of Azeroth that come with it both passive benefits and an all-new essence slot. Now, that slot can be filled by a number of new essences that you'll be able to earn through content such as the assaults on Uldum and Vale of Eternal Blossoms, delving into horrific visions, our new Mythic Plus season, PvP, the Ny'alotha raid, and more. And also, as we're seeing assaults by the minions of Nezoth on Titan forges around the world, we have to wonder, is it possible that these assaults on Titan forges might somehow change the nature of Titan forging? This is something we are still discussing, and we are working on a plan that we'll be able to roll out in the very near future. But we're excited about the idea of embracing the old god threat this time around to replace Titan forging with something a bit different, something a bit more twisted and corrupt, that also ideally works to preserve the value of item level and the correlation between doing difficult content and getting the best rewards. Also coming in Visions of Nezoth, at long last, are a couple of new allied races joining the Horde and the Alliance. First off, on the Horde side, in a shock to everyone, I'm sure, we have the Volpera of Vol'dun.
I'm making my bank tune called Holo.
And if you've completed the Vol'dun level up questline and you're exalted with the Vol'dunai, you'll be able to jump in Visions of Nezoth, complete a questline, and run around as a Volpera of your very own. Alpaca not included. Sorry. On the Alliance side, in the meantime, the Mechanomes of Mechagon are joining their gnomish brethren on the Alliance. Grateful for the aid that's been rendered in overthrowing the despotic rule of King Mechagon, the Mechanomes will complete a quest line for those of you who are exalted with Mechagon and can join the Alliance, and you too can have a gnome of your very own with a robot arm and or leg, your choice. I'm also happy to share that we're adding new Heritage Armor quest lines for the recently updated Goblin and Worgen, coming in Visions of Nezoth. On the Goblin side, you'll be able to earn this perfectly suitable set, complete with explosives and rockets and everything else that makes a Goblin's cold heart happy. And of course, for Worgen, what Worgen would be complete without a top hat that you can at long last use to express your true snooty inner self? Or just walk around as a wolf in a top hat. Who doesn't want to do that, really? Also coming with Visions of Nezoth is a complete overhaul of our auction house. This isn't just a UI reskin, but we actually redesigned and rebuilt the guts of the system to make it faster, more performant, and to get rid of those annoying single stacks that literally no one likes.
Oh,
we recognize that there are hundreds of thousands of transactions happening across our auction houses on a regular basis, and we want to create a modern system that's smooth and easy to use.
And corrupt.
In redesigning the auction house, we had a couple of major goals. First off, we wanted to make the whole thing smoother and more performant. This is something that we started working on right around the launch of Battle for Azeroth, when folks may remember, the auction houses were clogged with tons and tons of single stacks, and searches and even purchasing or selling things might take several seconds or upwards of a minute in some unfortunate cases. We want to make sure that never happens again. Separately, we want to tailor the auction house functionality to the way that most people use it most frequently. And so, if you're just somebody who goes to the auction house periodically to buy consumables for your raid or to sell some extra stacks of cloth or ore, we want to make that as smooth and as seamless a process as possible. The first major change that we've made is separating out stackable items to effectively create a separate commodities market, where you can just go list a stack of ore or cloth or potions, and people who are purchasing them can purchase portions of a stack. There's no more sense of there's one of this and two of this. There just happen to be 117 pieces of ore at this price, listed by 7 or 8 different buyers. If you want to buy them, you can just buy 15 pieces. It'll buy part of someone's stack, send them the gold. If you've listed a stack and only part of it sold, you'll get the gold for what's sold and the remainder back in the mail to you. Also, we have the ability to favorite items and create a shopping list for yourself. So if you regularly forget the name of that specific gem or that consumable, you can just have a checklist that you can quickly search for and buy on the go. And on the selling side, you won't have to worry about stack sizes as you're listing your goods, and undercutting is much less of a factor in the market as it plays out in practice. Ultimately, we've just tried to offer improved functionality, a smoother interface, and faster responsiveness for people on all sides of the market, as well as some of the power users out there. We can't wait for people to check it out on the PTR. Let us know what you think, and we'll be listening to see any further improvements we can make.
Increase stack sizes to 1,000, please. I'm running out of guild banks.
Also coming in this content update is a heroic version of the Darkshore Warfront, a new PvP season, Season 4 of Battle for Azeroth, with, of course, all new rewards, and a new Mythic Keystone affix that reflects Nezoth's corrupting influence as his tendrils spread their way across Azeroth. With this corrupted affix active, when you go into a dungeon in Season 4, you'll see occasional Black Empire obelisks dotting the landscape. Interacting with one of these obelisks will pull you into an alternate world where we see Nezoth's power ascendant and a powerful lieutenant of his stands guard. Defeating that lieutenant will return you to your regular reality, but will do so in whatever location you're currently standing when that mini-boss is defeated.
Rick and Morty
this will enable some interesting skips that don't involve the use of Shroud of Concealment or invisibility. Now, of course, if you keep these minions alive and you just decide to ignore them entirely, they may come and pay you a visit as you're fighting the final boss of the dungeon. So you'll want to strategize very carefully as you approach dungeons with the corrupted affix in play during BFA Season 4. Now, you may be wondering when you're going to get to check all of this out. Well, I'm very happy to announce that we're working literally as I speak on getting this uploaded to our public test realm for the entire world, and we should have it live later today. You'll be able to jump in, check out assaults by Nezoth's minions, venture into your very first horrific visions, and much more. And just after that, stay tuned for news regarding multiplayer raid testing and more. Thank you all so much. We'll be listening very closely to all of your feedback from the PTR. And just around the corner after that, see you at BlizzCon.
I'm going to sound like a dick, but I'm not going to play it on the PTR just because I kind of like keeping the progress that I have. But when it comes to the auction house and the stacking and the prices, I think it's a good idea because a lot of us that sell fuck tons of stacks, right? We get undercut. Well, I'm used to it, but back in what usually happens to a lot of people is you post, say, 10 stacks of 20 at a certain price, some guy comes along and undercuts you, right? So if you want to get really good at owning a market, you have to log in every hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, whatever. You got to have a strategy in order to maximize, your presence on the realm. What this is going to do, it's going to remove that undercutting little thing because the number of stacks you're undercut by is not going to bury your auctions. If you're undercut, more people can post on the same price and it's just going to be level. The question is going to be how it's going to be distributed. Is it going to be the last person that posts that gets the sale, or is it the first person that posts that gets the sale? Or if, say, for example, 20 people posted 10 each and someone decides to buy 200, is that going to be an X amount from each that's the real question. Because some people will be like, okay, well, you're incentivized to lower the price in that case. It's going to be interesting. It's going to shake up the way people sell. But fundamentally, people that have a lot of gold and have stockpiled and have played the economy game on the server are only going to get richer. It's just going to make it more difficult for the average Joe to break in. Even in WoW Classic, I'm only level like 20, right? And I'm already breaking into some of the markets that I used to own back in Vanilla. And it's very easy for me to do that because it still works off the old system where I just have to undercut them by one copper, and I've undercut them. It doesn't matter how big they are. So if I just log in more frequently than they do, it doesn't matter how big they are, I could penetrate that market. Whereas this is just going to be very different. It's just going to be very different. So I know it sounds silly, but it's just going to shake up the way it works. Your strategy to penetrate a market and keep people out is going to be completely different. You're not going to be able to bury their auctions. You're not going to be able to spam single stacks. It's just going to change the way you do it. Price is going to be more important than ever, but at the same time, the guy that has a big quantity is always going to win. Because, he can just muscle you out of the market. Or he's just going to buy huge quantities from the Chinese gold farmers that are just farming all day. Like, that's literally what happens. Either that, or buying directly from the people that leave a bot on their account to farm all day while they're at work. And then they log in and sell it to someone. That's literally a thing. People still do that to this very day. I used to personally buy from people that used to just farm skins and leathers and whatnot while they were watching movies, but there's a lot of people nowadays that just use bots to farm. And then people just buy. That's what, the big guys that own most of the server economies do nowadays. They don't even play the economy. They just buy off botters and they just have everything for a lower purchase price. And so they could sell at a price that other people simply can't in order to make a profit. And that's how they win. I used to play it on a different way. I'm kind of lazy, so I go for the markets that are very niche. There's next to no competition, and my markup is like 1,000, 2,000%. So my posting cost is, say, 1 silver for a 48-hour auction, but my markup is 1,000%. So even if I sell one every like 10 days, I'm still making a huge profit instead of competing with everyone in a high volume market. I can't be fucked anymore. And using that strategy and logging in like once a week, I can still make 1 million gold every like month. Like, it depends on your strategy, really. Am I going to make auction house gold making videos and stuff like that? Honestly, given the fact that I'm a part-time YouTuber since I work Monday to Friday, am I going to use the little time I have on my weekend to try to make gold? Not really. So, like, that's the thing, not going to lie. When it comes to content, I am probably going to stream some of the newer content because it's fun for storyline and gameplay. But making WoW gold, it's kind of lost its thrill. There's nothing to buy anymore. I can pretty much buy anything in the game and then buy another one, and it doesn't really make a difference. So, it just loses the thing. Like, your first gold cap is like, wow, and your second one is like, oh, I did it again, like the Britney Spears song. Like, that's about it. Sorry to disappoint you guys. That's just kind of how it feels. There's no more use for it to me, honestly. It's just, it is what it is. I buy the WoW tokens, but that's it. It's kind of sad. I kind of wish story content came out more. And I really hope that Nezoth doesn't become an LFR boss within a month of release. It would be nice if it's like one of those bosses that doesn't become an LFR boss for, say, a year. It's not going to happen, but say a year, to just incentivize some of us to spend the weekend to form a raid group and do it. To give us a little bit of that. But now, if I just have to wait an extra month or 2 months to kill it while I'm semi-AFK, I'm going to wait an extra month or two instead of spending, an entire day doing a 10-man raid. I'm just being honest and speaking from the heart here. That's honestly what's going to happen. I mean, the content's great and all that, but you can LFR it. And like I said, you can solo a lot of it. Yeah, you can team up with someone and, team up with your friend and do it, but that need to form that 10 and 25-man raid group to kill that massive boss, that's gone. Honestly. Unless you're going for, competitive raiding and, just want to get the shits and giggles and you still get a kick out of it, or if you're hunting a sponsorship from, say, Monster or Red Bull, it's lost its thrill. Honestly, I loved raiding back in the days of BC and Wrath of the Lich King. Those were some of the best times ever. By the time Mists of Pandaria came in, I was like, what the fuck? And I was even raiding in Cataclysm, and I remember getting my Deathwing bow and my Deathwing staff on my hunter the first time I killed 25-man heroic Deathwing, and I got both of those weapons my first kill. and I went into PvP and I was just slaughtering people. But that's gone because it's all normalized now. So even if you have the item advantage in a BG, it's not there anymore. And world PvP is difficult to come by, even though it's Battle for Azeroth, right? Unless it's world PvP is not like STV where you're going to get PTSD. It's just not there. So your incentive to do these things and have these awesome items is removed. And yeah, the cosmetics may look awesome, and you may be able to just, clear the content and get unique skins. Let's be honest, we did Mage Tower, we got unique skins. How many of us are still using them? Let's be honest for a minute. How many of us? A few, maybe. So, and, I play a bit of WoW Classic, for the shits and giggles, but it's tough. The best part about WoW was the fun you had with the people you played, and it's just different now. It's just been watered down so much that inertia and laziness being what it is, some of us would just rather wait a month and do it in LFR instead of spending 1 or 2 days on our weekend and doing a 10-man. Because we could spend that time doing something else. Like, honestly, that's the situation. And that's probably the biggest WoW killer there is. The fact that the content has been casualized, and changing the color of the armor isn't going to change that. Like, whether you get it in bronze or silver or like shining gold is not really gonna make someone feel a lot better. When some of the coolest item skins in the game come from a PvE, PvP, Darkshore, Warfront. Like, that's honestly, in my opinion, the best looking armor in the game right now. The Horde Warfront armor, that just looks sick. The Alliance one is not bad either, but like, that's the best armor in the game at the moment. And all you have to do is like log in once every 4 or 5 days, literally AFK in the woods, and you've got your piece of armor guaranteed. Don't want to end it on a sad tone, but like, yeah, like, that's what it is. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna watch some abridged series and some good old fashioned WoW machinima, laugh my butt off, remember the good times, and hopefully we get about 10 of us in the Discord that are just chilling on one night and just kill Nezoth in normal mode or something for the shits and giggles. Why not? It's probably the best we're gonna get. Getting 25 people together, a bit like WoW Classic. It's just a matter of getting 40 people together. It's not as difficult as it used to be. It's just the difficulty of getting 40 people together. That's the real challenge, right? The real challenge was the community you had to build, not the difficulty of the mechanics. And of course, the internet and the computers. How many graphics cards were cooked during summer when you were playing a raid? Like, a lot of them. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. Feel free to hit me up in the comments. I do read them. I do reply. And I do chill in the Discord Monday to Friday. I kind of only stream Saturday and Sunday and do reactions, but I kind of wanted to do this straight away because I didn't want to wait till the weekend for this video. So I hope you enjoy. And if you haven't, make sure to check out the reaction channel. That's where we watch stuff for the shits and giggles and have fun. So I'll see you there. Ninja Kuma out. Bye.